Hello and welcome to a new episode of the Sovereign Goddess podcast. Authentic conversations with modern medicine women and goddesspreneurs alike, inspiring you to build your queendom with grace. I'm your host, Sabrina Riccio, and I'm so excited to be here with you guys. We are in our last weeks of 2017, and I came across this Instagram post and today, and I was talking about this emergence and what's happening in our evolution. And so it said 2016 was the caterpillar, 2017 was the cocoon, and 2018 is the butterfly. And it rained so hard on me, and it was just like a huge aha and being like, yes, this is exactly what has been going on. So all I can say is that these next episodes of 2017 that are going to be out in these next couple weeks are really powerful, and they're really here to inspire you to go out there and really create a life that you love. And who I have on this episode is, God, I love this woman so much. I met her years ago when I was living in Encinitas in San Diego, North County, San Diego. And I met her through a mutual friend, and we just went to this mutual friend's wedding back in September. And end of August, I should say, beginning of September. And it was just like, oh my God, we have to have this conversation. And, you know, I'm a firm believer that everything happens at the right time. It's all divinely timed, and there's a divine purpose to everything. And for me, this episode is all about intuitive business and the future of conscious entrepreneurism with Danielle Blum, who is the creator and founder of World Native. And they're this beautiful platform that connects minds locally and globally to support individuals in a variety of ways through entrepreneurism and personal development to really show up. And so intuitively, I knew that this episode was going to come out when the timing was right. And lately, just intuition has been such a strong thing for me lately. I've been really working on my own healing. I don't know if you follow me on Instagram, but I found parasites the other day. So now I'm on this parasite flush, so I can really purge and release the shit that no longer serves, no pun intended, and just really become a clear vessel and an open channel so that I can allow the miracles to come through and be this conduit to witness these miracles in the world. And, you know, even Danielle, she's an intuitive business coach, and she helps people really in their awakening process, and she helps them find their light and their gifts to share with the world. And then she's very passionate about creating a community to magnify our efforts for global change. And I feel like if this episode was out sooner, then we wouldn't really be able to talk about the global change that the people are having right now, especially because with the recent midterm elections, or special elections, I should say, that happened. And you know, there's more people showing up and more people speaking up, and we've got a huge issue going on right now with net neutrality. And if you don't know what net neutrality is, essentially they want to revoke net neutrality, which means that mega companies, are going to restrict what you can see unless you pay for a premium. So this affects social media, this affects Netflix and Hulu and news. So essentially, this is a way that the government is trying to take over and control the internet, which is part of our First Amendment rights, is freedom of speech. And so there's no accident why this episode's coming out now, because, you know, the future of conscious entrepreneurism is to really step up and to really speak up and to practice what you preach and to show up and really make a stand for what you feel is right and what you feel is for the highest good. And so right now there's a lot of old traumas and a lot of stuff that's coming up because this is our opportunity to shift the planet. So again, there's never any accidents. Everything is always perfectly unfolding as it should. And this is the time for us, as we go into a new year and we finish off this year, to really allow ourselves to express who we are. The most authentic expression of who you are needs to come out right now, because you are responsible for how your life is unfolding. You know, if you are not taking the steps that you know you need to take, or you're being guided to take, but you're feeling lazy or inadequate, or the who am I's are coming up, you're doing a disservice to the world, and you're doing a disservice to yourself. So as you know, I'm going through this parasite cleanse right now so that I can clear out all the bullshit, all the stuff that isn't serving, so that I can be refueled again with light and love and be this vessel and be this channel to support goddesspreneurs, to support women, to support men, to support countries and whoever needs it. I just want to be the best that I can to show up authentically and fully, share my gifts, and to be active in this massive paradigm shift we're facing. And it's such a beautiful time for us to be alive, because it's just an opportunity for more love. It's an opportunity for more connectivity, more connection in a way that's like coming together in community and family, and to even just reach out to those we may not really feel like are aligned with us in a way, or you know, we think they're separate from us because their lifestyles or whatever are different, because there is no separation. This is the stuff that we really need to face and we really need to become aware of. So I'm really excited for you to check out this episode. We're going to be talking a lot about fostering a relationship with your intuition and healing our money perception, anchoring in this 5D consciousness in the world today, acting from inspired action versus receptivity, and just having the courage to really show up in the world. And I mean, that's why I created Stay Woke. Like I came through after my recent Ayahuasca ceremony, and it was like, you know, this is an opportunity for helping people to really be awake and aware of what's happening. And I just wanted to say real fast, from now until the 1st of January, it's the price for Stay Woke will be $88, but it's going to be going up to $143. So this is a great way to get hours of work, and there's worksheets and Kundalini yoga classes and playlists, and there's so much stuff for $88. And I'm super stoked to see how it helps you. And also in the beginning of the year, next year, I'm really working on honing in on this a lot during this next Mercury retrograde, which we're about to jump into, because Mercury is my planet, right? Not only do I run a podcast, but I'm a Gemini sun and a Virgo moon. So it's who I am. And Mercury rules both Virgo and Gemini, if you didn't know. And so I'm just working on getting clear on how I can really show up and how I can really serve. And I'm really excited. I'm revamping all of my one-on-one work. I know my focus is going to be helping goddesspreneurs and to really be showing up in a way where I want to help people realize their dreams and becoming reality. I'm here to help people align to their highest selves. I'm here to offer the tools and to really be the best version that people can be. Like, that's my intention, and that's what I'm really looking forward to seeing in 2017. So I'm really excited for you to dive into this episode. Danielle she's such a gem, and literally, like, this episode is so powerful, and you're going to hear what this beautiful goddesspreneur has to say, and you're just going to be like, damn, she nailed it. Damn. Like, this girl, she's just literally like truth bombs after truth bombs after truth bombs just coming out about business and life and intuition. And I just adore this woman so much. So I just wanted to say thank you again for tuning in and for your love. And if you're not subscribed, you should be. So subscribe to our podcast here. And if you love it, I would really love for you to leave a review. It really helps us to be found and discovered from people that, you know, are looking for podcasts. And of course, if you want to share with your friends, share with your friends. Or if there's anything that comes up, please feel free to reach out to me on Instagram at Sabrina Riccio. And I'm really excited to hear how this episode inspires you to finally go out there and to build the business and life that you love, because our lives are so short, and this is the time for us to really be like, you know what, I am worthy of living out my dream. I am worthy of aligning to my soul's purpose. I'm worthy to show up offering my gifts that I'm here to bring. So without further ado, enjoy episode 25 of the Sovereign Goddess podcast, Intuitive Business and the Future of Conscious Entrepreneurism with Danielle Blum. looking forward to hear how you think about it and what you feel about it. So here we go. Hello, and welcome to a new episode of the Sovereign Goddess podcast. Authentic conversations with modern medicine women and goddesspreneurs alike, inspiring you to build your queendom with grace. So as you heard in the intro, I have the beautiful goddess, the Shakti herself, Sena Shakti here. Like every person that I know that's in my tribe has all been working with Sena here on Cacao. And so it only felt appropriate to have her here and to share the medicine with Cacao, and how this and other plant medicines have really helped her align to her highest self as the medicine woman that she is. Like, I've had a lot of people on the podcast, that are a lot of entrepreneurs, and yes, as Sena is a goddesspreneur and stuff like that. I'm just really excited that I get to be able to talk and have this conversation about something that I'm extremely passionate about, and that's these plant medicines, and how, like, there's a reason why they're coming up right now, and they're really being a topic as we are working on healing our relationship with Mother Gaia and opening our hearts and going back to these ancestral ceremonies and practices that have been brought forth. And I think right now we're in this really beautiful space of healing our ancestral karma. And to do that, like, we're so advanced with technology, and we have all of these, like, computers. Like, we're able to have this communication right now, like via Zoom. Like, she's in Northern California, I'm here in Joshua Tree in Southern California, and we're able to connect. And the fact that we are able to have this technology, there has to be another balance to that. And so for us to be able to go really far in these advancements, we have to be able to also swing the other end of the pendulum back to the ancestors in order to bring this balance. Because we can't have, if it's going to go this way, it can't go, and it doesn't go the other way, we're going to be completely out of whack. So thank you for being here and for sharing your wisdom and your medicine. I mean, we haven't even started, but like, I'm already feeling like how excited I am for this episode.
Thank you so much. I love that I'm here with you. I love that we got to meet actually a couple of weeks ago at Bhakti Fest in Joshua Tree. That was really special.
Yeah, at a Cacao Ceremony, go figure, right?
Yeah. Of course,
with the
Cacao was like,
Hanuman project. Yeah.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah, and I've like totally been following your journey and a big fan of yours. And I'm super, like, when you asked me to do this, I was like, yeah, like, are you serious? Of course. So I'm super excited to just be receiving your medicine also, and getting to learn more and feel more of your amazing energy. And I love that analogy you just made of like the pendulum. It's like coming from Google and like being this medicine carrier, and it's like, how do we bridge that? Like we can all do it, and so like I think
like saying that, first of all, thank you for that. It was very kind of you. I'm willing to receive that. But being from Google and then having this like existential crisis where you're like, what am I doing? And then going like the complete opposite end of the spectrum, where it's like you're in jungles doing teacher trainings, which there isn't the technology and the craziness of the Silicon Valley energy, and you're going back to this like really just as intense of an energy, but in a different form in the jungle, like we literally are in this, we have all the information in our pockets and all these things, but we also have all the information within ourselves, and these medicines are allowing us to tap into that. So I've heard your story. I want you to share just like a brief how, you worked at Google and then you realize like, I need to get out of here, and this is like not in alignment with me anymore, and your whole journey towards becoming the Sena Shakti you are today.
Yeah. So, I mean, in a nutshell, and if you want me to go deeper into anything, please interrupt, but just like to give the overarching story, I worked at Google for 5 years in Silicon Valley. I I did my 200-hour yoga teacher training about 3 years ago. And that started my awakening. You know, I started to.
Were you at Google then?
Yep. I was
Okay.
at Google. So it was like 2 years into my career at Google, and I did my yoga teacher training, and then I started to question things. I just everything, you know, like, why am I commuting 3 hours a day? And like, I don't really like being in this office, these four walls. Like, I want to be outside. It's so nice out. And yeah, just really questioning, like starting to question things. Whereas before I just kind of had accepted that that was life, that this is what we do as humans, is like get a job, go to college, get a job, blah, blah, blah. So started questioning with yoga for sure. Started teaching yoga, you know, doing tons of trainings, like just diving in. And then all of that yoga actually led me to this really random small town in Mexico called Troncones. It's like 500 people. And it was such a random like way that I ended up there. And the first day I was there, I met my friend Jackie, and we became fast friends. And she was working at the one like yoga retreat mindfulness place in this little town. And she invited me to a cacao ceremony. And I didn't know what it was at the time. I had no idea. And I was like, sure, it sounds cool. And I went, and it changed my whole life. And so then that ceremony was with a group called Kula Collective. And so after the ceremony, I was like, okay, what was that? Like, I need more of that in my life. Like, I don't know what just happened, but I need more. And they were like, well, we have a 300-hour yoga teacher training in Peru in August, which was, I think, like 10 months later. And they're like, and it's plant medicine. So it's like ceremonies and plant medicine, and then the 300-hour yoga training. And I was like, I just saw, like, my whole life was like, like just totally like that was really the anchor, was that Peru trip. So I went back to Google, but then cacao was really like, that was when I really started just diving into cacao. I bought a bunch of cacao. I started working with it on my own. My friend Maggie, who I now have a retreat company with, she asked me to lead a cacao ceremony kind of out of nowhere. And I was like, yeah, I think I could do that. And I like meditated with cacao, got the download, started leading ceremonies. I mean, it was just like full on. And then quit Google, which is another crazy story. And then sold all my stuff and went down to Peru in August and did the 300-hour, and was on this like journey of total unknownness for about 8 to 10, probably 10 months. I was in Peru, and then I ended up going to Costa Rica and did a panchakarma, which is like a 3-week Ayurvedic cleanse. I was doing a bunch of cleansing and just really, really deep.
So that purging of the old as you're like in this phase of like metamorphosis into like your fullest, most authentic expression. So I just really want to interrupt real fast because I want to talk about trusting, like having that intuitive trust and that like pit, like the thing in your stomach, in your gut, where it's like, this is where I need to go. Like, how has that really helped you from, you know, trusting yourself and your intuition about like, hey, yoga, I mean, Google isn't my dharma. This is not my dharma. Like, how was that for you when you were like, this is not where I'm supposed to go? Like, I need to be more in alignment with how I'm really here to serve.
Yeah. It was a confusing, messy process. It wasn't, you know, like I was questioning it when I started, once I did my yoga teacher training, and I had gone back and forth about wanting to quit Google for probably at least 2 years. But I just didn't know what I would do after that. And I didn't have honestly, I wasn't like centered enough in myself. I knew enough to know that like this wasn't my dharma, but I didn't know myself enough yet. You know, it was like, I just didn't know what I would want to do. I wasn't connected on a deep enough level. But I was learning, definitely. I started, you know, when you start to wake up and you start to experience synchronicities and like your ability to create your reality and manifest things. And I started to experience that. And I was like, all right. And then I think the trust came from at that first cacao ceremony. Like I sat in the circle and it was a total shamanic, like they had the bells and the crystals and the Palo Santo, and we did hape, which is like a tobacco snuff. And I mean, we did
hape.
Yeah, it was like a full on, we did the Sananga, like the eye drops. Really painful, but like very, very clarifying. Anyway, so it was a really like pretty full on shamanic ceremony. And when I sat in that circle, not knowing any of the people or what we were about to do, I felt so at home, like a sense of familiarity that I had never really experienced in my life. Like I was like, oh yeah, I know this. Like I know what this is. And I didn't, but like something in my cells definitely did. And just feeling so connected with cacao in that ceremony, and on an intellectual level, not knowing how to explain any of it. But I think that's the beauty of the plants, is it's not intellectual. It gets into your cells and does what it needs to do. And I think
it's molecular shift, you know.
Absolutely.
It's like that resonance within your cells that's also in the plants, that is like fire and igniting that.
Yeah, it's a total alchemy of like, what do you need and where do we need to support you and where do we need to clear shit out? And it's you know, it's really beautiful. It's a dance. But I think that's where the trust really came, is just that it's a feeling. It's like you can't explain it.
Yeah. And I think, you know, it's like feeling, like that's what's been so coming strong for me lately too. I just want to say this, I want to share a little more about cacao, but like with feeling, it's like the key to manifesting things. It's not what it looks like, but how you want to feel when you get there, because most of the time the universe will give it to you even greater than what you visualized or expected it to be.
Yeah.
And you know, sometimes when we go through these journeys that are really challenging, they suck. Like it sucks for sure. Like the isolation, the confusion, the who am I? What the hell am I doing here? What is this? Like, oh my God, like, am I losing it right now? Like my friends think I'm out of my fucking mind right now. I'm like jumping on a plane. I have kind of a very similar thing. Like this past year, I was about to have like an existential, like nervous breakdown. And I bought a ticket on Sunday, and Thursday I'm in Costa Rica. Like, it's just like, you know, trusting, like I need to go.
I gotta do it. Yeah.
I gotta listen. And, you know, I think a lot of that comes, and I hope you guys see, like, once you start to cultivate that relationship with yourself and that inner knowing, and you take the time to honor your needs and what you really need, not what it is for the outcome for someone else or for your job or for your family. Like, what is it that like you need to fill up so that you can be of service, like real service, because we are all needed right now to step up to our truth and to own the story, that the journey that's brought us to this point, you know, this whole journey of, you know, battling our own dragons and realizing we are the dragon, right? The Sophia. And so I've just been seeing a lot of that. It's like more of that feeling. So I'm really happy you said like you can't explain the feeling, because we are also more in a space of being more in experience. Like, you know, as a Kundalini yoga teacher, we talk about like the yoga of awareness and how it's about the experience that you're going. That's why we don't do adjustments like your typical hatha or vinyasa, because you are having the experience you need at that moment. And as a teacher and facilitator, I'm here to hold space and make sure you're safe, but to be able to allow the experience to unfold. So I just want you to talk about like about cacao, like how people are having this experience of a total heart opening.
Yeah. So for those that may be new to cacao, just a quick like background. It's the raw ingredient in chocolate. It's the bean. It's the bean that makes chocolate. It's actually a fruit, grows on trees, and the beans are then ground up and made into chocolate as we know it today.
And they're white most of the time, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Some of them are white. They also have like a white fruit around it that apparently is really yummy. Most of them, there are white ones, but there's also
brown ones. Yeah.
And so what we know of as chocolate today is often heated over 180 degrees. So all the amazing compounds in cacao are heated out. And then there's a bunch of sugars and a bunch of crap added to it, depending on what chocolate you're buying. So cacao has been used as a medicine by Mesoamerican cultures. So the Mayan people still carry this medicine today. The Aztec culture also worked with cacao from the Mayan lineage. And in Aztec, the word for chocolate translates to heart blood. So they like, these cultures have connected with this plant on a deep level, on a deep, like, spiritual connection level, and saw that this was a medicine, and it works in the heart space primarily. So, from a physical, there's like all these benefits, right? From a physiological perspective, there's, when you drink cacao in ceremonial doses, so it's like 1 to 2 ounces, you can experience up to 30 to 40% increased blood flow through your body. So just think about that for a moment. If your heart's pumping 40% more blood, your brain's receiving 40% more blood, like, your body's just kind of up leveled for that.
It's an aphrodisiac, right?
Exactly. I like where your mind is. Love it.
Me, yeah.
Yeah. So everyone, go get your cacao for date night. Totally. But yeah, it's like, and that's the cool thing about the medicine, because it's so versatile. It's like, you can, use it for like a romantic thing. You can work with it for creative projects, for focus and yeah, but really, like, your heart is opening, it's expanding. There's also some compounds in it. There's anandamide, which is the bliss molecule. There's PEA, which is a long word that I can't even really say. That is also, there's that, and there's couple other things that basically make us feel happy. They're mood uplifting. So it's working from like a neurological level, and like working with the receptors to get these new different molecules to make our brains happier. It's literally pumping more blood through our heart. So we're like more energized, and our heart field is just magnifying. And it's really good for us on so many levels, and it's cleansing us. But
because when you have this blood flow, it's allowing stagnant stuff to move.
Yeah. So I've experienced myself, and also witnessed people experience total like emotional releases of stuff that's just been stuck, energetic releases of just kind of like twitching and shaking and like moving stuff through. Definitely, if you can really connect with divine source, whatever you want to call it, like I've seen incredible things of it, just opens you
breakthroughs.
up,
Yeah,
totally.
Yeah.
And it's like such a beautiful space of community too, when you're doing these ceremonies and everyone's like playing the music and dancing and like hugging. Like I remember I went to a cacao ceremony at Envision. And it was my first cacao ceremony, and like two of my girlfriends from home were in Costa Rica at Envision too. And it was like so magical. I was just on this trip because like my girlfriend Sahara was doing like an Ayurvedic kind of retreat, and I did some sound medicine there, whatever.
Nice.
And yeah, but I remember like that was my first ceremony, and I was like, I need to see what it's about. And I just remember like feeling so high and so elevated between like being around the energy of like the group that was together to consuming this cacao and like having this beautiful prayer and intention and like drinking it together. Like I'm so big about ceremony. Like it's like so near and dear to my heart. I've had difficult experiences because I didn't respect the medicines. And then I've had really beautiful experiences where I put so much intention and prayer and blessings inside, and I think that's a lot of what it is too, is like preparing it in a way that is just like respecting the medicine. Like when you go and eat a Hershey's chocolate, which is all processed and filled with junk, like it's disrespectful, really.
Absolutely.
Like these chocolates that are out that are not really paying respect or honoring or like completely extracting out
just for the sugar and the mass consumption and, you know, all of the craziness of the patriarchy and these mega corporations. It's nice to see that like cacao is having this like revival right now where people, and like I've also been seeing like more of like the conscious partying, because I know like with your story too, like we have very similar, like party hard all the time, like rage it up. Like you were what, Madison, like one of the top party schools like in the nation for sure. I was at San Diego State for 2 years and I was like, this is insane. So you know, now I'm choosing too, like if I'm going to party, it needs to be a conscious party where there is intention. And, you know, if there is ceremony or partaking of medicines or anything, like really paying respect and thanking them for helping us heal rather than numbing ourselves out. So
Absolutely.
you know, and I know with you, like you reached out to me after Bhakti and you're like, I want to teach at festivals because you had your little like renegade ceremony inside a trailer. Like how was that experience for you, being able to bring it to a space where, you know, it's just like in your heart, it's like, I need to bring this to the people and I'm going to have these people in my little trailer and we're going to do cacao. Like, how was that for you?
Totally. It was one of definitely my highlight of the festival, honestly. Like it was so beautiful. There was tribe there that I had met on different parts of my journey in Costa Rica and Peru and like all over the place. And so it was like
cool.
coming together, right? And and I like my partner and I, we kind of splurged and rented this little trailer and we had some space and I just was like, you know, and you're always in festival mode, right? You're like, oh hey, so good to see you, but like let's drop in later, I gotta go do this thing. And so I just felt really like I wanted to create a space for us to really connect. And what I've learned from cacao is that you can, when you're with a group, you can drop into like, you know, like a resonance, a frequency, a shared field,
vibration,
where you're not, you know, you don't have to tell me everything that's happened in the past, you know, 4 months. Like that, I would love to know that, but like we don't have to have that download or that discussion on an intellectual level. It's like once we're in ceremony together, once we have that intention, like you said, and we share, you know, respect this earth medicine. This is a tree. Cacao comes from a tree, so we're literally drinking like the medicine from a tree and sharing in that reverence as a community, and then allowing, you know, like I didn't have like a set list of the ceremony. It was just like very organic. So we ended up sharing our intentions out loud and then sharing some stories, and then people just started playing music. And, you know, it was just like the connection I feel with everyone in that room, even some people I didn't know showed up, and like, you know, that's how like tribe is created. You know, it's like we get on that field and your hearts are sharing space. Like
it's a space of authenticity, you know. It's like being able to be seen for where you are in this present moment, not for where you've been or the subconscious thoughts that you're going through, that like your own challenges and stuff. It's like the importance of presence, you know, in today's day and age. It's about like how you are right here, right now, not like who you are striving to become or who you were back then. Like, how are you showing up fully right here, right now? And then when you're able to recognize that, you know, and feel that soul connection of like, oh, I see you.
Yeah. I feel your heart, you know, like I love you. Like, of course I love you because you're you.
This is why I love teaching about authenticity and vulnerability and just like being in that space of flow and trust, you know, when I'm sharing my work, or like, because I mean, I'm sure with you too, like there's been times where you're just trying to make it and like trying to make it and you're trying to figure out everyone else's formula or what they're all doing and things like that. And then it's like, let's just clean slate and let me get real with myself. Like, what are the things that bring me joy? What is it that I'm here to share? Like, what is my medicine that is going to help trigger that or wake that up in someone else?
Yeah.
Because as we share our story and what's helped us, like there's that state of remembrance for others too, because it's all the same. It's just different actors. Like that's what my grandfather used to always say.
Love that.
Same story, different actors. It's like we're all on this journey of like finding who we are and sharing our gifts and to help one another thrive, especially in really challenging times right now.
Totally. I mean, I learned so much about vulnerability on, you know, I was living alone like in Peru and Costa Rica for a while, and I really started sharing more on social. You know, I started really just like saying how I was feeling or what I was going through, and I learned a lot about vulnerability and also boundaries, right? And like not oversharing. Yeah, discernment, right? Totally. But I mean, vulnerability, it's what we
connect.
It's how we connect. Yeah, it's like what we live for almost. It's like those moments where you can really see someone's truth and you like feel that. And that's the knowing that I think ceremony and these medicines help us get back to.
And it's like you're not alone, you know, because a lot of times when we're in the journey of discovering who we are, we feel so hermited and so isolated and like no one knows what the hell I'm going through.
Yep. Yeah.
You know, especially if you're hanging around groups of people that may not also be on the path that like of like enriching yourself and like making yourself to be the person you are, like really doing the work to like become you, like the real you. There are things that are going to be shifting in your life that have been comfortable. You know, you have to learn to trust, like going to Peru and Costa Rica by yourself, like being in that space by yourself. And I actually really love the story you have about your teacher training with the San Pedro experience. It's, if you can share that, because it's something that is so, it's the shittiest thing that like when we were like, nah, universe, I got this, I know what I'm doing, and the universe like, shut up, bitch.
Yeah,
and, like put you on your ass.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's a good story. It's funny you brought that up because we had a little San Pedro journey this past weekend in the Sequoia Redwoods, and so it's like still definitely feeling the medicine from that. Yeah, so it was my last. So in my 300-hour teacher training, we had 2 ayahuasca ceremonies, and then the last day of the training was a San Pedro Vision quest, which is a cactus medicine that is primarily like mescaline is the primary active ingredient in it. And I had never worked with, I mean, I'd never done most of these things before, but I had never worked with Shuma, and I was super excited because my ayahuasca ceremonies, some of them I think are different. There's some different traditions are different, right? But like mine were a Shipibo tradition where it's pitch black overnight, and like the hardest nights of my life by far, like really, really challenging. So, you know, the idea of like being out on a vision quest, like in the daytime, and getting to explore in nature and work with a plant in a different way was really exciting to me. And because everyone also, Washum is known as like more of a heart medicine. It's like can be a sweeter experience. So,
and it's like grandfather.
The grandfather, where ayahuasca is the grandmother. Yep. So those like the master plants.
Yes.
And a funny like side note of one of my teachers explained it as like ayahuasca is the grandmother that's like, you know, grandmothers can be strict, you know, they're like gonna teach you the lessons and they want you to really grow into a strong human. So they're kind of the more forceful ones at times. And Washum is like the dad, the father energy that's kind of like, let's like go watch a baseball game, you know, or like let's just like hang out. And it's just like a little more of a chill. I mean, that has a lot of stereotypes in it, but it's an interesting, I just think that's a helpful way to kind of describe the energies. So anyways, it's the last day of the second ceremony. So in my second ayahuasca ceremony, I was getting tons of downloads and so much clarity. And one of the big things she said was to not work with any plant medicine for 6 months. And so I knew a week later we had our Washuma journey, and I knew after that I was going to be in Peru. And I was like, so I just started negotiating. I was like, but like, okay, like how about after the training then I start? Or what about cacao? Like what about ceremonial doses of cacao? She's like, no, like you need to heal your heart. You need to rest. And I was like, just like fighting it. And finally was like, okay, all right. Like I surrender. I'm going to do this. So I get out of the training. I get out of the ceremony and I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to drink the medicine on the Vision Quest. I'll go with you guys, but I'm not going to drink. Well, as the week goes on, people are like getting excited about it and they're kind of pressuring me, not pressuring me, but they're kind of like encouraging me like, oh, you could just have a little bit, and I'm like, yeah, and so basically the day before this journey is going to happen, I had decided, I was like, okay, I'm going to drink half a cup. Like I am going to drink some. So that morning I ended up spraining my ankle so badly. Like I thought, I didn't know that a sprain could be this bad. I thought my foot was broken. And I essentially was like laid out in a bed for solid 3 weeks after that. Like did not participate in the closing ceremonies that we had, didn't go on the Vision Quest, and literally was forced to be bedridden for the good part of the next month, and then like regaining my strength of my foot and rebuilding my legs. So, that was like, thank you for reminding me of that, because that was a moment of like, all right, I am so sorry I even tried to fuck with you. Like, like it's like
I got the lesson
yeah,
learned.
like and it's like, it's like we need that, because it's like, if you're gonna do this work, if you're gonna
tough love,
it's tough love. It's like I needed to rest. I really did. I had just left like this corporate world where so much shit was happening. My relationship just ended. Like I was like,
super changing and shifting.
And I really just needed to sit.
I think a lot of it is too, like the thing is like you need to make sure you're taking time to integrate, right? Mm-hmm. Like these shifts that are happening, like we are so used to numbing ourselves out by either like alcohol or drugs or food or sex or whatever. Like when we need to take the time to integrate work, like when we need the time to integrate the changes that are going on, or as we're stepping up into who we are supposed to be, our soul may already be so far out there, but it takes time for our bodies to meet with the soul.
Totally. Yeah. That, I mean, and the integration has been a phased thing for me, where I came back to the States in May. And so it's been, 6-ish months since now. I live here now. Like I have a little apartment and I have items and I have a car. I really came back into the society that I was not a part of for about a year. And I realized just recently that like, I thought I was doing all the deep work when I was out on my journey, like alone, living alone, and I was doing a ton of deep work for sure. But there's a different, like coming back home and, seeing your previous partner and like seeing people from Google and like, family, all the things, like these reflections that you don't.
The default world, as we call it in the murder community.
The Matrix. I mean, but it's like when there is an element of like, yes, I needed my little cocoon. I needed the like healing of the ocean in Costa Rica and just time by myself. And there's an element that like you're not getting when you're cocooning yourself, and it's like, it's awesome. Like there's a part of me that's like, I wishes I could just say fuck it all and like go, never talk to a human again and live on the beach in Costa Rica. But like, what
then why are we here?
Right. Like that's not what I'm here for. And so I've learned just, in the past 6 months, really in the past month, where I'm like putting myself out there more and, getting questions from people from my high school or whatever. It's like, that's a really important piece of integration, where it's like the coming home, we have to come home.
Sharing the medicine that's helped you heal yourself.
Yeah.
And, like there's people that like, hey, like I've seen this transformation in you. Like, what are the secrets? Like, share with me the wisdom.
Yeah. It's a responsibility.
So great. Yeah, it's our civil duty. And I think with like so much going on right now, like I know with me, like I'm have to step up more than I ever have to like share the work. And sometimes like when you're coming out of that hermit or that cocoon, it can be really scary too, because it's like you've been like really nuzzled in this like safe space, but it's also remembering that you are safe no matter what when you are in your truth, and you're safe because you're a child of the universe and always protected. And you know, there's things that we don't have to do this alone. Like we can call and ask for help through people, through community, through medicine, through nature. Like we're always, it can't intervene into our experience unless we ask, because we live in this space of, you know, like free will.
Yep.
And so,
Yep.
you know, and then even talking about the discernment on like when to come out or when to share out, like, you know, that's part of the integration too, is like feeling as though your cup is full, so that once it's overflowing, that is what can be shared, so that it is this this everlasting flow of inspiration and light and love. But we have to make sure like we have our oxygen masks on first, you know, and that is integration.
Yeah, totally. And that, I think now that you say that, like, that's what I was doing for those months when I was alone. Like, you know, it was like, I wasn't planning on going to Costa Rica from Peru. That logistically doesn't make sense, but I got the guidance from ayahuasca and it ended up flowing. And I just ended up like soaking in the sun and swimming in the ocean every single day, and like really nourishing myself and learning how to care for myself in a way that I'd never done, you know, when I was like, go.
And that's foreign for people too.
Oh yeah.
You know?
It was a process to learn, you know. It was like, what do I like? What do I not like? Like, can I splurge on this smoothie right now or whatever? It's like learning to really like, I love myself more than anything, and I deserve a smoothie right now. That kind of thing, you know? Like,
I don't want a smoothie. I'm gonna have a damn smoothie.
yeah.
No, but I think it's, you know, and I think it's so like so many of us, you know, are really waking up out of the corporate like fog, and it's like, wow, like I have something that's just as amazing to share right now, and like having the courage to be like, hey, like I'm going to take what it takes and like use the experience that I had from these corporate jobs to start creating something that feels like not work. It doesn't feel like work because I'm enjoying it.
Yeah.
And it feels like, hey, I'm being of service. And it's like, I'm taking the risk to get out of this corporate secure kind of thing, and where all of my financial needs are being met, but I'm a zombie working 9 to 5, fulfilling someone else's dream. Yeah. And then we also are in this space where it's like we're taking care of grandparents and our own parents, as we, like our generation is, I feel like, pretty conscious, because one, our exploration with medicines, again, like that whole revival, and two, we're the last generation to remember what life was like pre and post technology.
Yeah.
And so, you know, there's a lot of us, that things that we need to really navigate through that are a lot more challenging. And what's also been coming up for me a lot lately too is like we're doing some deep womb healing right now too, because what comes to my mind really strong lately has been like 9/11. Like we were all in that space of like puberty, most of us, you know, like young adults during that time. And it's like so traumatic going through that during your that's like the part, like your sacral chakra is like being developed during that time. So then our sense of creativity, or even like, you know, the fears are all stored in that womb space. And like, that's why so many people are having a hard time like conceiving now, or like, you know, all of these issues that we're having. And so medicines like cacao, or like people going to ayahuasca, or like San Pedro, or working with hape or cannabis or psilocybin, or whatever it is that is calling them, it's allowing them to really open up these spaces, especially in ceremonial settings. Like I'm a firm believer everything in ceremony, like If you're just doing it just to get fucked up, like, shame on you, because you're actually disrespecting the medicine. Like, just like coca, you know, like coca is actually a very sacred thing, but like our generation, our era, and our country is so like, yeah, like let's do it to get high and then keep drinking. And it's like finding that high within you through yoga, breath, and then occasionally working with the plant medicines if they're feeling called to. So, you know, it's also being able to have that boundary and that level of respect for our bodies, because it can be very tolling, you know, like working with these medicines all the time. And if our bodies aren't ready for it, like we're setting ourselves up for disaster.
Yeah, absolutely. It can be super, I mean, it's just as easy, maybe not just as easy, but you can get into like a similar distraction where you're like addicted to like, not even like the medicine necessarily, because it doesn't, like for ayahuasca example, doesn't have like addictive properties, but you can be addicted to the experience. You know, you can be addicted to the amazing ceremony and even the intensity and just everything. And I think that's, again, like coming back to that lesson about coming home. Like for me, it was like, there's a part of me when I decided to move back to the States, I was like, I really grieved leaving my life in Costa Rica. You know, like I was like,
what is this?
I fucking had it made. Yeah. Like, what am I doing? Why am I leaving this beach right now? Like, I don't even get it. And, you know, it's that same thing where it's like, if you're called to go on a spiritual journey, like, please do it. And like, I see people get stuck there. You know, I see so many people with so much amazing potential who are like in the travel world or in the kind of like wanderlusty world. And there's a time where you got to like bring it back, you know? And
well, you have to be able to bring it back to your tribe at home, and that, you know, like there's a reason why your soul chose to be in this space, and like there's work to be done. And it's like bringing the medicine, like it's like very like Moana-y, you know, like bringing it back, and like going out and like stepping out of your comfort zone, you know, and being in that space of like, hey, I'm going to experience life right now, but I also need to share what I've learned, you know, like you can't keep consuming, and I think that's the things too, is like we become so numb on like the experience of like searching, like we keep searching and searching and searching, but then there comes a point where you have to share what you found.
And you have to commit. Like that for me was the hardest. I was so averse to committing to anything, you know, like once I left that world, I was like, I mean, I flew to Costa Rica and landed there and didn't know where I was sleeping for the night or didn't know where I was going next. Like I was like, so like, yeah, I'm just gonna let the universe carry me.
Maybe this hippie that's gonna let it all figure it
you know,
out.
it's just gonna come to me. And like, there's beauty in that. And I think a lot of people should try living like that for a while. Totally. You know, a lot of our society is like really boxed in and could benefit from that. But like, yeah, I just kind of forgot my train of thought, but
that's okay. Well, you're talking about going back home and like, you know, being able to also
committing. Yeah. So it was just like, you know, for me, it was pretty clear pretty early on that like there was a special connection with Cacao and I, you know, like there was something really deep here, but it took me a couple years to finally like just simply in a different ceremony, I like simply just was like, it's cacao. Why am I trying to do all this other shit? It's always been cacao, you know, and like commit to it and just really like own it and be like, you know, I do know some stuff about cacao that I'm going to share. I'm not an expert. I'm not better than anyone, but like I can help you learn about it.
And you share through the experience. So it's important to have those moments where it's like the total surrender and like, hey, I'm going to go completely out of my comfort zone, but I'm also going to, you know, I need to be like in this, like I need to really give respect and take the time to connect with this medicine, or take the time to connect with this project, or take the time to be with it so that I continue to learn and deepen my relationship with this thing that's helped me so much.
Yeah. And when you're jumping from thing to thing to thing.
Again, I can't integrate. You can't integrate. You can't respect it. Mm-hmm. You don't allow the space for it to grow, the fire to burn brighter and to rise up, you know, and to help you soar up to better heights. And I think,
Yeah.
I know I'm for sure a victim of like jumping from thing to thing to thing to thing. Like the
Me
amount
too.
of certifications and the things that I've learned, it's hilarious. But like it's part of who I am. And then I get to also incorporate pieces of the various things that really work for me and create it as my own. So with that being said, I want you to talk a little bit about your retreat coming up in Costa Rica and also your cacao course.
Awesome. Yeah. I'd love to share. I'm really excited. So we have a New Year's retreat, a retreat over New Year's in Costa Rica, and it's on a cacao farm and a permaculture community. So
cool.
Like, it's so rad. And I've been on this land. This is where I met my partner in Costa Rica. This is where like I got a lot of clarity through a different event that I was at there. And I'm really, really excited to take people there because it's like, it's off the beaten path. It's not even a retreat center. It's like, it's a permaculture community. So they don't hold retreats there. You know, they hold like permaculture courses. But so I kind of wiggled my way in there, and I'm really grateful that they're accepting this retreat in, and they're really excited to have this because it's focused on the cacao. So it's December 30th to January 4th. And we'll be really doing a bunch of different ceremonies, like outdoor fire ceremonies to like release the year of 2017, anything that you don't want to bring with you into 2018. We're going to do like a sound transmission on January 1st to like really unearth what wants to come through.
Yeah.
And then do a visioning circle on the 2nd where we'll be sharing dreams and making vision boards. And like, it's like, if you want to make, and 2018, I mean, we could talk separately about that, but 2018 is like the year, you know, like this is huge. And so I'm really excited to offer this as a space to really, really get clear on like what you want to bring in and what you're calling in. So that'll be really fun. And there's just going to be cacao all over the place from like, we'll be working on the farm a little bit.
All the cacao, like
all the
cacao, like drink cacao, like eat cacao, like
just
be
like
cacao,
pour it all over you.
all over the place, just cacao everywhere.
Cacao. Yeah, absolutely. So
that's
the retreat. She's like all about it. She's like, just put me all over yourself.
Yes, cacao all over this.
Dive in it.
Yeah, all about it.
Oh, so that's going to be great. And then I have an online course called Open Your Heart with Cacao. And it's really just meant to be, it's a foundational course. So it's all the questions I was getting about like, what is cacao? How do you make it? What is it going to do to me? You know, how do I do a ritual? Everything. Where do I get it? All of that is in this course. And so it's really meant to introduce you to cacao, creating your own morning ritual. And then we close with a really awesome group ceremony. And I'm in the middle of 2 more right now. And people like the response.
Is this one-on-one or group?
It's a group.
Cool.
Yeah, it's live. So it's a group course. It's 3 weeks long. It's just a 2-hour class, a live class, 2 hours each week. Yeah, it's been really fun. So there will be another one coming up probably in October.
And all of the links are in the show notes. So you can just like click on this podcast episode either on SoundCloud or on shamanessagadesa.guru, or you can even go on iTunes and you look in the description and the links for the retreat, the links for the e-course, Shena's Instagram, website, all the goods.
All the good stuff.
All the goods, like the cacao all over us is just like all here. Shower in all of the wisdom and all of the cacao. That's so great. Okay, so I have a few like fire questions to ask you that I want to have you on your toes.
Okay, I'm excited.
Okay, you ready? Okay.
Yep.
What does cacao mean to you?
Love.
Love that. Okay. What is your current mantra?
Ooh, I am that I am.
Oh, and that's all right.
Yeah.
Thinking of this like song from my friends. Side note. Okay. Power question. Okay. Who are some of the guides that are really guiding you right now? Your spirit guides, whether they be in animals or ascendant masters or deceased loved ones, archangels.
Yeah. Well, definitely cacao is like the strongest usually. I'm pretty connected. If you can see my tattoo, I've got a panther on my arm.
Oh yeah,
So
meow.
panther medicine, jaguar medicine is really strong for me. Deer medicine, a lot of deer in my area where I'm living right now, and then trees.
Yeah, and it was cool because you were talking earlier about like, you know, consuming the cacao and it's coming from the tree. All I could see was like the tree, just like the roots going to the core of the earth and just like bringing us to the core of our being, of who we innately are.
Just got chills. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's what I was saying when you're talking about that, but then like, you know, conversation. So
yeah. Thanks for bringing that in now. That's epic.
Totally.
Yeah.
I just a little, you know, side note, cliffhanger over there.
Yeah.
Okay. What are some like crystals or divination tools other than cacao that you feel like are your go-tos?
I have one tarot deck, the Vision Quest Tarot, which is really awesome. And then I have an oracle deck called the Sacred Rebel Oracle deck. And it's all about just like that innate wildness of the feminine and like being
Who
a
creates
rebel.
that deck?
Alana Fairchild.
Fairchild, of course.
Yes.
I was gonna say, like, I love her.
And the art is by Autumn Sky, and it's like epic.
Great.
Yeah, and then I guess I have a quartz that I love, and then I'm really into like different sages, Palo Santo, copal, that kind of stuff.
All the plant medicines.
Yeah, just pour them on me.
Beautiful. Just pour it on me. Oh my God, so good. Okay, 2 more questions. What would you say to younger Sena today?
Oh God. Oh, I'm gonna start to cry. I would say,
let it out.
I would say you're doing so great, and like just keep going and keep following that little voice that's only going to get louder. And I love you. I love every bit of you, every like thing that you don't love about yourself. I love you.
Oh, I love that. That's so sweet.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is kind of a big one, but where do you see cacao, like the revolution of cacao? How do you see it making an impact on the world?
There's a prophecy, a Mayan prophecy, that cacao will come back in mass when humans have lost connection with their hearts. And
oh my God.
So that's what I foresee. I mean, on a micro scale, I foresee bringing it. I know, it's so real.
I feel it in my heart, man.
Yeah, she's coming back with a vengeance. I was just in a Business Insider article about cacao. Like, what? You know, like she's making herself known. And yeah, it's that. I think bringing it to Google, bringing it to corporations, I think is a next level.
That's what I feel like that's part of what you need to like share, girl. Like in this corporate field of like opening your hearts and not being so centered on like the domination of control and money, and remember why we're actually here.
Yeah. And like, again, like that's probably the next level of like bringing home the medicine, right? Bringing it back.
I am just getting all of these visions right now. I can't even like, boom, like third eye open right now for you, girl. Yeah. Woo! Wahe Guru. Yes. So good.
Yeah.
I'm so happy I asked that question. I just like literally is like bringing chills all up in my spine. Cacao. Yes. Cacao. Yeah. Great. Oh, yes. Okay. So my last question is, where can we find more of you and your brilliance and your light?
You can find me senashakti.com, Instagram at Sena_Shakti. And the cacao course is openyourheartwithcacao.com. I'm in Sonoma County. I'm leading ceremonies in the Bay Area. So I've got a bunch coming up next month.
And all that is on your website, I'm sure.
The
It
dates,
will
right?
be very soon, but it's on my Instagram, of course.
So it's on the IG, so
On the IG.
that makes it official.
Yeah, the website's like, maybe later. No, it will be.
Yeah, it's happening. It's time. It takes time.
It's all moving.
There's only one person, dude. That's what I tell people all the time. Like, I'm trying to do it all by myself. I'm doing my best, man.
Right.
God,
Yeah.
give me a chance.
And you're doing great.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for seeing me.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, one last question I have.
Okay.
What is something you would like to share that we haven't talked about that is really helping people who may feel the call to start embarking on this journey or this plant medicine? What is one piece of advice or one little nugget of wisdom, a little gem that you would like to send off with?
I would like to send off with the learning that I've discovered of, most of the teachers that we meet in our lives are no better or are not more worthy than you are. And I know for me, I put a lot of weight into like idolizing teachers, putting people on platforms, putting them like above me. And then I was given really kind of harsh experiences of their humanness, and the fact that most teachers, unless you're really with an enlightened, like guru level person, like a real guru, not just like a guru.
Because you are your own guru.
Right. Yeah. Like, right. It's all coming back to that. So basically that's my wisdom is like your core, your knowing is your truth. And like a teacher could say one thing and that could conflict with your knowing. Stay with your knowing. Just like you keep coming back to you.
Thank you for saying that, because I know like there's been definitely times in my life where my teacher is telling me don't do this because they either haven't had the experience or hearsay or we all come from different experiences. Like yes, it's all the same story, but we all have different experiences that bring us that knowing. And so have unwavering truth about your truth. Like be like unwavering in what you know and what is reigned to be true, because other people are doing their best to protect you because they care and they love about you. But you're always protected. You are always safe. And if that voice, even if it is scary, like you have to listen to your innate knowing, like your heart. And so thank God for cacao. That's helping us heal our hearts again, because literally the thing is like we've been so stuck in the bottom three triangle, the our lower chakras, because there's so much trauma that's why that the Kundalini hasn't hit the heart, because there's blocks that we're facing in our solar plexus and our sacral chakras, and most definitely not feeling grounded. Yeah. So I would just say, because it's just coming through, like as you go on this journey of opening your heart, like be gentle with yourself, because you are cutting through ancestral like shit. You're cutting through the karma of our ancestors and our own, way of understanding when we were so naive and like listening and so impressionable to our parents and our communities and things like that we didn't know who we were. That as we open up our hearts, it's just to remember that vibration and that love. I don't know. I just had to share that.
Totally. I have one thing that I need to say.
Yeah.
Know that you know. Yeah. Like, know that you know.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes. Yeah. You know everything, guys. Everything. It's all inside of you. And sometimes like ask for help, That's the thing. Like, everything, but you don't have to do it alone.
Totally. And you're not doing it alone, really.
No. Well, you got your guides around you. You've got like spirit with you. Like if you think you're doing it alone, then that's totally your ego, and you gotta check yourself before you wreck yourself anymore, right? So, okay, well, Sena, I can like talk to you all day.
I know.
Like this is why I really feel like I only do the podcast so I can like talk.
Just hang out.
Hang out.
Yeah. I love it.
I love to hang out, and I love hearing like other people's perspectives and their point of views. And then, you know, it's really good when we get to share each other's stories and have other people listen to it. And then it's like, oh my God, I'm not alone. So thank you for reminding us that we're not alone. And especially when we're taking those big leaps and the big risks.
Yep.
Like, thank you for your vulnerability and your authenticity and your commitment and your dedication to opening the hearts with cacao and to really connect to that innate wisdom that is in these plants that surround us and within us. So I just like deep bow, sister, and I'm so grateful, and I was really looking forward to this conversation. And thank you for being you, and for showing up, and for helping all my friends open up to cacao.
Thank you so much.
Because we're all connected, right?
Cacao tribe.
Tribe, cacao tribe, all the way. So,
yeah. Thank you. This was really fun, and I'm so
thanks,
honored
sister.
to be here. Yeah.
Thank you. So yeah, so this is Sena, everyone, and start working with cacao. Like, this is the time for us to open our hearts. Like, this time is to stop being so closed off and to be so disconnected. Like, this is our time to reconnect and go back to that innate truth and that innate wisdom, and to step into our brilliance and our radiance, and to just like dance it out and come in together in communion and celebration and community. So
yeah,
thank you, everyone. Hope you enjoy this episode, and we'll talk to you soon.
Ciao.
Satnam.